Hello, my name's Michael Zarnecki. I'm a poet, and my connection with ESF is in 2017 and 2018. I spent 10 days up at Huntington Wildlife Forest up in Newcomb. I was a poet in residence there, both Octobers, and stayed there for 10 days, hiked, explored, gave a reading and workshop, and wrote poetry. And then also the 2 springs following those residencies, I was on the main campus and gave a poetry reading, and followed by an open reading to start off Earth Week. And we were going to do that again this year, and of course, so much has changed. So Maura asked me if I could maybe record a few poems and post a video of them to share some of my poetry, since we're not doing the Earth Week event. And so I'm home in Wheeler, New York, Steuben County, and I took a hike down to the pond and thought this would be a good place to read some of my nature poems at the pond here. So I want to start with a poem called Remnant. It comes from the Urbana State Forest. I've been exploring state forests here since things are, not going out in the world otherwise, so doing some hiking in the state forest. And this is an old poem. There's a huckleberry swamp there, huckleberry bog. And this poem speaks to that. It's called Remnant. Uphill hike, Old Town Road, raspberries, black, red, juicy, sweet. State land left, posted land right. Hunter's cabin, trailer, new bulldozed pond holes on steep wooded slope. Up top, huckleberry swamp, ringed with chestnut, some sassafras, 5 acres of sphagnum, blue flag, and rare for here, black spruce, breeding 10,000 years in this glacial-aged remnant, where we and waxwings feast on blueberries. And then I'd like to read a few spontaneous poems. Every day on Facebook I post a new spontaneous poem. A poem I wrote just in the moment, no editing or revising at all, and I post it on that. It's a daily practice of mine, and it's over 1,900 daily spontaneous poems. And also I do a daily photograph every day. Recently it's starting to be some of the spring wildflowers, and there's over 2,100 of photos. And these are untitled, but these are all recent in the last couple of weeks, and certainly dealing with the situation we're all in, but also with nature too. And again, they're untitled. I walk away from computer after having read more news. Step outside in cold night air. Leo hangs over roof of house, Big Dipper above woodlot trees. They shine like they did last year. Will shine like they are now next year. I'm into wild foods a lot, have been for decades. And now that I'm home more, usually I'm traveling a lot come April, National Poetry Month, I said, let's get into the wild foods a bit more. So, wintercress, daylily greens, tomorrow maybe garlic mustard, homebound, more time now to gather wild foods, make use of knowledge gained decades ago. Thank you, Yule Gibbons, Stalking the Wild Asparagus, for starting me out on that path. In vernal pool, dozens of red newts, masses of frog eggs. As coronavirus fears dominate our moment, nature's fecundity goes on. This morning, after last night's 3-inch snowfall, birds flocked to feeders, goldfinches, chickadees, juncos, woodpeckers, titmice, doves, nuthatches, sparrows, purple finches, along with one lone white-throated sparrow, just arrived from further south, stopping on its way north, where it will sing its mating song. Oh, sweet Canada, Canada, Canada. And the white-throated sparrow is my favorite sparrow. And I remember decades ago, too, again, buying my first field guide, Roger Torrey Peterson Guide to the Birds, and looking through the book, sitting at the house and picking it up at times, and I thought, how am I ever going to tell the sparrows apart? Well, we learn. Eventually we learn. I'm going to finish with 2 poems from 10 Days at Huntington Wildlife Forest, and this was a chapbook of some of the poems I wrote while in residency up there. And 2 poems, one called Wild Fruit. Partridge berry on woodland floor, small, mostly tasteless fruit, not bad, not good, but edible. Wintergreen berries below Arbutus Lodge, red amidst shiny green leaves, slight wintergreen flavor. Wild cranberries, purple, red, in boggy area of rich lake, northern tartness in each bite. Though late autumn, still some wild fruit, left to pick, left to taste. And just the other day on one of the hikes in the state forest here, there were partridge berries around, so I picked a few up, nibbled them, and not good, not bad, but edible. And then one final poem. It's called Passing Through. Underneath ground pine, underneath spruce, fir, maple, beech, birch, underneath Rusula emetica, underneath wintergreen, bunchberry, partridgeberry, underneath wood ferns, underneath Arbutus Lake, Rich Lake, Wolf Lake, underneath otter footsteps, deer footsteps, bear footsteps, my footsteps, underneath soil we all walk on, lies bedrock of ancient mountains. We are all just passing through, even mountains too. So thank you all for tuning in, and stay safe as you pass through. Okay. Bye.